In the deepest, most isolated corner of the Earth, where silence is the only law, a secret laboratory worked under the cover of perpetual snow. Buried deep within the mountain ridges, it operated without a name, a ghost on the global map. Inside, scientists moved like shadows, their faces grim, their work a betrayal of nature itself. They were creating something the world was never, ever meant to see. A virus. But this wasn't a product of evolution. This was coded by man, a digital plague designed to rewrite life. And they were testing it on living creatures. The results were horrifying. Their bodies twisted into grotesque new forms, their minds collapsed into primal rage. Yet something deep inside them refused to die. A grotesque, terrifying new form of life was born in that lab. The clock struck 0200 hours. A voice cut through the static at command. Operation Silent Sky is a go. 6 state-of-the-art fighter jets, call sign Falcon Unit, were cleared for a deep strike mission. Their objective was simple, but impossibly dangerous. Destroy the high-tech lab before sunrise. There was just one problem. The lab was nestled in the heart of a narrow, treacherous canyon, a place the locals called the Dragon's Maw. This canyon was surrounded by ancient stone pillars, but these weren't natural formations. They were armed. Laser beam sentry turrets, fully autonomous robotic guardians, could lock on and vaporize a target in a fraction of a second. Falcon 1 to all units. Stay low. Radar blackout engaged. The leader's voice was calm, but the tension was electric. The jets sliced through the cold night sky, their engines a low hum against the vast emptiness. They flew barely meters above the frozen desert floor, kicking up clouds of dust and snow. As they entered the canyon, the moonlight vanished, swallowed by the towering cliffs. The pilots dove between the rocks, each heartbeat now echoing louder than their own engines. This was flying by instinct, by the seat of their pants, a deadly dance in the dark. Infrared sensors began to pulse, locking onto the lab's coordinates. Target in sight, whispered Falcon 3, his voice tight. But as the thermal scan resolved on his display, a cold dread washed over him. The scan revealed dozens of heat signatures swarming around the facility. They weren't human. They were moving too fast, too erratically. What had they created down there? Before they could process the information, the night exploded in a flash of blinding light. The first beam cannon, mounted high on the cliffs, fired a lance of pure energy straight through the dark. A direct hit, Falcon 6. The cockpit burst into a shower of sparks and fire. Mayday, I'm hit! I'm going down! Transmission cut out. The jet spiraled helplessly into the canyon, crashing against the rock wall in a silent final explosion. One of their own was gone, just like that. Panic threatened to break the formation. Stay focused. Drop to 200 feet. Now. Falcon 1's command was a lifeline. The remaining pilots dove sharply, flying dangerously close to the ground, the canyon walls a blur on either side. The sky above them became a lattice of death as blue lasers tore through the air, seeking them out. It was a storm of light and energy, and they were flying right through the heart of it. Bomb doors open. Countdown 3, 2, 1. The first payload dropped. It was a beautiful, terrifying sight. A glowing streak tore through the mist, a harbinger of destruction, and vanished into the canyon's heart. Then, impact. A thunderous explosion ripped through the mountains. The ground shook violently, and the shockwave nearly tore the wings off their jets. A massive fireball erupted from the lab's core, painting the canyon walls in shades of orange and red. For a moment, there was only silence. A deafening, ringing silence. Then the comms crackled back to life. Mission accomplished. Returning to base. At the first light of dawn, the 5 surviving pilots landed on the desert runway. Their faces were burned by exhaustion, their eyes hollowed out by what they'd seen, by who they'd lost. They had succeeded, but the victory felt empty. Falcon 6 was gone. The base stood quiet as his name was echoed across the radio one last solemn time. Hours later, satellites confirmed the mission's success. total destruction. The lab was nothing but a smoldering crater. Its advanced metal structures were melted into slag. The reinforced glass turned to dust. The threat was neutralized, or so they thought. But as the smoke began to clear from the wreckage, a faint, sickly green glow shimmered beneath the rubble. It pulsed rhythmically, like a weak heartbeat. It came from a cracked, reinforced vial, which was slowly leaking a viscous, dark fluid into the scorched earth. And that fluid, it moved. It twitched, coalesced, like it was alive. The mission was successful, but the war had just begun. Thank you for watching this chapter of Operation Silent Sky. If you're as gripped by this story as we are, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next. We'll see you in the next one.